Everyone knows that Jason Todd is the Arkham Knight, but what if he wasn't? Today, we're going to be discussing an alternate reality where the Arkham Knight is revealed to be someone else. Welcome, detectives. If you were following the news before its release, every hood and their mother were placing bets on who the Arkham Knight was going to turn out to be before the game was released. Rocksteady were doing their best to convince us that it was a new character, but I don't think many of us were buying it. It seemed that the big bet was on Jason Todd turning out to be the Arkham Knight. But what if things were different and the creative team went with a different established character from Batman's world and made them the Arkham Knight instead? That's the question I found myself thinking about recently when I was replaying the game. So to answer my own question, and hopefully entertain you guys, here are some of my top choices for who also could have been under the mask. I've saved the final choice for who I wish the Arkham Knight would have turned out to be, if it would have been someone other than Jason Todd, aka the Second Robin, aka the Red Hood. And it's not someone who I remember anyone guessing could be the Knight. Hush. Thomas Elliot was the heir of the Elliot family and the childhood friend of Bruce Wayne. After orchestrating a car accident to get rid of his parents and inherit their fortune, Thomas developed a pathological hatred for the Wayne family when Thomas Wayne saved his mother's life, and when Bruce inherited his family's wealth after the death of his own parents. An incredibly skilled surgeon as an adult, Elliot planned an elaborate revenge scheme on Bruce Wayne by reconfiguring his own face to resemble Bruce's in the attempt to steal his fortune. He first disguised himself as the villain known as Hush, with his face covered in bandages, and plotted to finally take his revenge against Wayne. In Arkham City, Batman goes to Hush's hideout, and he learns that Elliot had created a face that looked exactly like Bruce Wayne's and had even managed to change his prints and voice to that of Bruce's. Hush trapped Batman in his surgical room and left Arkham City. Batman informed Oracle of this and said he would track him down the next day. It's not too difficult to imagine Elliot wanting to take over the identity of Batman by first destroying him as a new character called Arkham Knight. What is interesting is that in Hush's first storyline, he was a part of a plot that had a decoy Jason Todd coming back from the dead. This could have made for an interesting twist, but ultimately the character was not used in any major way in the games. Prometheus. A dark reflection of Batman, Prometheus was raised by criminal parents who were unalived by policemen right in front of him. Dedicating his life to destroying the law, Prometheus traveled the world and trained in the ways of murder. Clad in an armored suit that maximizes his natural skills, he is a master assassin whose physical and mental abilities rival Batman's own. Prometheus had been hinted at as being a villain you would face all the way back in Arkham Asylum, when a newspaper clipping about him could be found in the penitentiary. Bringing in a character who had been hinted at since the very first game would have been a great payoff, and it would have left many fans believing that it was Rocksteady Studios' plan all along. Ultimately, I don't think this character would have been popular enough to make as the main villain in the game. Wrath. Wrath is a character who is very similar to Prometheus, but he has more of a connection to James Gordon, which is why he might have been perfect for this game. The Wrath is an anti-Batman whose criminal parents were burglars like Joe Chill. They are unalived in a shootout by then-rookie policeman James Gordon, coincidentally the same day that Batman's parents were gunned down in Crime Alley. As an adult, the Wrath becomes a cop destroyer who copies many of Batman's methods. He is essentially Batman without any preconception of morality or true justice. Unlike Batman, Wrath has no qualms with the use of firearms and unalives his victims. Because Wrath's parents were taken from this world on the same day as Batman's, I think it would have been an interesting parallel to show how Wrath and Bruce Wayne's paths sent them in different directions. It also would have been an excuse for Rocksteady to once again show the origins of Bruce and do more flashbacks to his parents. Because Wrath and Prometheus are so similar, I could see a merger of these two characters' backstory being used to create the backstory for one of them before they are revealed as the Arkham Knight. Ultimately, for better or worse, I don't think Rocksteady would have wanted to use such a minor character as the main villain for the finale to their trilogy. If you're enjoying this video, please do me a quick favor and hit the like button. It's easy for you and it helps me and the channel out a lot. Azrael. During the events of Arkham City, Batman encounters Azrael many times throughout the game, where he gives cryptic statements before disappearing and leaving an ambiguous symbol. Once all the symbols are collected, they form a map of Azrael's location, leading Batman to the Gotham Cathedral. At the church, Azrael revealed that he had been sent to observe Batman and believed that he was a warrior that was foretold by an ancient prophecy. Azrael revealed that he was sent by the Order of Saint Dumas to deliver a prophecy to Batman. He told how the city would burn, and that Batman was the warrior who would save Gotham City, but would fall in the process. We see in Arkham Knight that Azrael says that Batman will need a replacement, but had the creators of the game decided to use Azrael in a different way, maybe he could have tried to force Batman into making him his replacement by getting rid of the Dark Knight. In the comics, a different person, under the persona of Azrael, did take over as Batman after Bane broke Batman's back. Once Batman was healed, he had to forcefully take the role of Batman back from that version of Azrael. Seeing Batman and Azrael fight over who would be the one true Dark Knight would have been an interesting turn for the creators to take after first setting him up in Arkham City. Ultimately, a showdown between these two are not what I think most fans would have wanted, but it would have been interesting to see a battle for the cowl in the final game. If you enjoy Batman news and reviews, then be sure to hit that Batscribe button on the bottom right-hand corner of the video. I post new videos every day and can only continue to do this with your support. Deathstroke. Originally a soldier in the US Army, Slade Wilson was part of an experimental super soldier program where he gained enhanced strength, agility, healing factor, and intelligence. Deathstroke became a mercenary soon after the experiment and rapidly gained a reputation as one of the world's greatest assassins. During Arkham Origins, we see Deathstroke as one of the assassins hired by the Joker to take out Batman. The two then have an epic battle where Batman comes out on top. Batman would later reveal to Robin that Deathstroke was the toughest man he had ever faced. In Arkham Knight, Deathstroke worked as an ally of Scarecrow and the Arkham Knight, serving as an advisor and overseer of their siege of Gotham and campaign to defeat Batman. After the Arkham Knight was defeated, Deathstroke replaced him and took his place as commander of the militia and Scarecrow's second in command. Batman and Deathstroke would then face off again, but not in hand-to-hand combat. This time they battled in each of their respective tanks. This rematch was by far one of the biggest letdowns to me in this game. While playing the game recently, I found myself wondering, what if Deathstroke had been making plans all these years to come back and take out the Dark Knight? What if he wanted to show that he was better than Batman in every way, even by taking on the new persona of the Arkham Knight to show he was a better Bat than Batman was? If you listen to some of the dialogue earlier in the game, it does seem like it could have been plausible for the Arkham Knight to really be Deathstroke. The hatred he has for Batman being the one person who beat him in battle could have been the driving force that led him on this journey, thinking he knows Batman because of all of the years he has spent studying the Caped Crusader, and going off of his own experience in battle with him does add up. I think for me, I was just trying to find a reason for how Deathstroke could have been better used in the game. Deathstroke isn't even one of my favorite characters, and I am definitely way happier that we got the Jason Todd story that we did, but I still feel like his character was not given his rightful due in this game. That just about ties a bow on it for today, but as I was cooking up this list, it struck me like a slug in the gut. There's a whole caboodle of theories and characters that could have slipped into the Arkham Knight's boots. I'm fixing to post that video pronto, so make sure you slap that follow button and lay your cards on the table about who you reckon could have been a real contender as the Arkham Knight instead of Jason Todd. So, until our next rendezvous, detectives, remember this. Gotham's a maze, and the truth's a shadowy figure, always lurking, waiting to be unmasked. Stay vigilant and keep those flashlight beams on, cause you never know what's hiding in the darkness.